Hello and welcome to the OVRC. Welcome to the GT2 Series, and for the second race, which will be at Monza, I'm joined by Owen, as is
Hello,
normal.
everyone. Good evening, or whatever it is where you live.
And we, as we will soon be getting ready for qualification for Monza. Currently, the driver's briefing is going on right now. We're discussing the rolling start procedure. But yeah, we're at Monza, very well known track all over the world. Pretty much everyone's driven this track at some point. Got a very famous first chicane, very well known for causing some issues with cars getting around on the first lap, but hopefully we don't have any race today. But yeah, very famous track indeed. And should be an interesting race. Last time we were raced here was all the way back in season 3, I believe, with GT3 cars. That's
Yes,
quite
there is a car going out of the pits and it shouldn't be.
yeah.
Hmm.
Don't know why that is going on.
Someone clearly hasn't read the rules.
Um, but yeah, so this is going on track. I've lost my train of thought now.
Shall I just go through the top 5 in
Just
the
give it the top
championship?
fan. Yes, just do that. Got a bit of
Alright,
time.
so in the Drivers' Championship, Thomas Jansen and Jaroslav Homzik are tied for first position. You might wonder how that's possible, as if since there's only been one race so far. That's because Thomas Jansen has switched cars, and so he's lost 20 points, and so now both of them are at 80 points. Then in third is Caleb Gonzalez with 64 points, in fourth is John Dalton with 52 points, and in fifth is Tom Poddich with 44 points, #blessed. In the team championship, JRD Racing is leading with 110 points, then in second it's not Porsche Motorsport with 81 points. Absolution Motorsport is in third with 80 points. In fourth we have Night Riders with 58 points, and then in fifth it's Bizzle & Co Racing with 56 points. And of course, if you want to check out the full standings, you can do so at the link in the description.
Thank you for that, because I honestly can't pronounce half people's names. But anyway, we're at Monza. Very fast track. General strategy here is to run as minimal wing as possible and try and be as fast in the straights as possible, because the corners are actually a lot of slow speed corners around here. Outside the Parabolic and the Lesmos, and maybe the Ascari chicane, it's a lot of heavy braking, turn in, put the power out and exit. Not very tricky, and it's always led to good racing here. Unless you're wearing the McLaren back in Season 3, which had a quite funny situation where the McLaren would be behind a car slipstreaming, pull out, and then it'll lose all its top speed. Which was quite funny to watch. Not the best to drive, but somehow that driver came second anyway, so obviously didn't matter too much in the scheme of things. I'm not quite sure the rolling start procedure here is, because obviously it's a very long start-finish straight, and I believe there's some concern about when the lights went out and when you could overtake, because obviously it's such a long straight. It'd be quite hard to not overtake someone on the start. As the car which is out on track has returned to the pit lane now, as all the other cars now head out on the track.
The car that went out crashed, and so they went back to the pit lane and immediately went out again. Before the briefing was over, it seems.
So the drivers now will have 20 minutes and 30 seconds to do their outlap and their qualification runs. Everyone on the soft tyre, which makes sense for qualification, as we already had already had Radek Plastic spin, and one of the BMWs also lose it out of the first chicane, so good start by everyone. As everyone is somewhere in quite a large pack. It is 26 cars on the session right now. It's quite busy, and it will be quite busy all through in qualifying. So I don't think it's going to be much clear track, as there are still people in the pit lanes. Not pit lanes, the pit lane. Not multiple of them.
Yeah, we have 26 people in the session right now, so good participation at least, even though there's been a few sign-outs due to illness.
As the current leaders are going through the Oscar chicane, but they're not really leading, it's just the track position. As I'll be interested to see how the teams go along, because some of the teams may employ some slipstream tactics, try and get at least one of the cars further up the order. Not unheard of. We had a bit of it last season, actually, in GT3, where some of the cars would work together to help increase their qualifying position. Might happen again, as Taha will begin and be the first car to start their qualifying lap, I believe. I believe that is Tom Pottage behind him in the P45. But all the cars right now on track are all in the same area. It is a quite big track. Between Lesmo 2 and Parabolica, there is no cars at all. So if you can get your car out in that area, that is the place to be right now in qualifying. Go through the first two Lesmos. Now towards the back straight. It's not really. It's more of a dog leg. I always find it weird when people call it straight. It's got a kink in it. It's not a straight line. It's two straights combined as they go underneath the oval into Ascari. Try and use as much of that curb you can get away with before the track limits will ping you up. As interesting enough, Taha has returned to the pit lane. That means that Tom Pottage now has a clear track ahead of him. Now, worth noting that the P45 is not the fastest car in a straight line out of the cars here. It'll be interesting to see how well they'll do as Tom Pottage sits the first. No, I believe got cut off track. There's no time set, which means that Oman's got the actual first recorded lap time. And Honzig immediately beats that with 146.784. Current pole sitting time. As Thomas Janssen's going around for the Lesmos in his brand new Cadillac. Good news, there won't be any Cadillac shilling because it ain't Daytona. But he and his teammate have both switched to the Cadillac over the rough which they were in before. They're quite a different car, moving the engine all the way to the front, going for a small nimble thing to what's essentially a very large box with a wing on the back of it.
And a big V8 motor.
Big V8 more. The Cadillac is the best looking GT2 car here. Something. I love my CTSV because I can go around and beat all the track day bros in their BMWs. So Thomas
Jensen takes P1, 1.6 seconds ahead of Jaroslav Honzik, so it's quite a margin.
Quite a margin as our car is pulling up the pit lane, but they can't really do much. There's a bit in an awkward spot there. You can't really pull out because the car's coming down, but if you keep going forwards, you will get in the way. As Tom Pottage goes faster than Honzig, but it's 1.2 seconds down for the top. So, quite interested to see how the cars are. The Corvettes were very much mid-pack last time at Hockenheim. Interested to see where the Corvettes end out this time around, as both the Cadillacs are coming out once again. So it does seem that Sebastian and Thomas are working together on their qualifying runs. It is quite clear they're doing that. Honzik has got a bit faster. He's now under a second difference between him and the leader.
Potic in third is also trying to improve. So he is currently improving in the first sector, but he loses out in the second sector. So I think it's going to be difficult to make that time up in the third sector, as he looks to be drifting through there.
Not the
Ascari, I think.
Yep.
I can't remember the
Ascari
names anymore. Okay, that's good.
That's not really the quickest way around Ascari, I don't think.
It is the stylish way, but not the quickest.
We don't give star points out. But we can do the pointless top speed challenge if you want, which is right now going to Sebastian Brunier with a top speed of... Can't read it. That's a good sign. 280 kilometers per hour. So the pointless award to the highest top speed is to Sebastian Brunier right now. Speed doesn't mean much.
It means nothing, basically.
As
on
John
this track it might mean something.
John Dalton moves up the order a bit. He moves up to P6. Something that the Cadillac boys have done is got some serious top speed out of that car. Because their top time is nearly over a second over the fastest. Around the thing. Right now, Gard's improving both his sectors, but still quite a far bit down compared to where it was.
And John Dalton is looking to improve now in the McDonald's livery Corvette. And he has improved by quite a bit so far in the first and second sector. He's about to cross the line and he will move up to P5. About 3/10 of his time there. Thomas Jensen is improving in the first sector. By just a small margin. He is completed sector 2 now as well, with another small improvement. Trying to extend his lead on Jaroslav Honzik.
All three of the Cadillacs all together. So it's quite interesting to see how well that goes.
And there we go. He has improved his width, or has he?
He has improved indeed. All sectors have been improved.
I'm not sure I saw anything change on the actual standings.
Maybe.
Hansik is improving right now, but he's not really getting close to Jensen.
I do actually want to know how much they are working together, the two Cadillacs. They are always out together in qualifying. But it's worth noting Sebastian Brunier is currently in P6. He's still quite a bit off the pace compared to his teammate. He's 1.3 seconds off him.
Yeah, though his teammate is dominating right now.
So
8 tenths ahead of P2. Let's see if Hansik can shave a bit off that. And no, he doesn't. He loses a lot of time in sector 3. Right now, Michael Martel is improving by quite a lot. Trying to get out of P15. He is a bit down the grid at the moment. He will be crossing the line very shortly and maybe improving on that position. And it looks like he will move up to P10, so that's a nice improvement. And Willem van Ommen is about to cross the line and moves up to P8.
he's improving his time as he is just pulled up behind his teammate. Still quite a few people still on track, improving the things. As I said, the track is awfully busy. It's not much clean air you get out there. The thing is, it's Monza where having a bit of a toe can help a lot. It is a lot about the straight lines here. Interesting to see how the tyre strategies will work out this race, obviously. Last time we had a lot of different strategies being used. Hard, hard, soft, soft, hard, soft, soft, hards. It's really a free-for-all in terms of tyre strategy, and we'll see what will happen this time out. As Robert Nygaard's on the hard tyre compound. For
Interesting.
whatever reason, he is on the hard compound tyre. A bit. Jensen moves out the way of one of the other Cadillacs. I believe that is Connor Mathiasson in the grey Cadillac.
So someone's up into the wall. That's Kari, that was CJ Ewok. They have returned to the pit lane. As it looks like Thomas Jensen may have further extended his lead. So what Honzik is doing right now, he is improving, but still not getting close to Jansen. As Honzik does have his teammate Jan-Willem van Obben very close behind him.
Gonzalez currently sitting P3, is improving both his sectors right now. Still a bit quite far off the fastest time, so I think a lot of it's going to come down to the race. I think a lot of people are going to have to do a different strategy, because if Thomas Jansen can keep that pace going, then he's got quite an advantage. But maybe just beat the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Cadillac does seem to be quite strong here, with 2 of the podium positions being filled by a Cadillac. And Corvette's still very strong. The weakest car is definitely the BMW, with only one of them in the top 4. One in the top 10, I mean. The 4th place is a BMW. Cadillac's also struggling a bit, as Vinnie Roberts does improve his time.
Very interesting bit of information from Tom Pottage posted in the chat. He's committing to not changing tires this race. At least that's what he's saying right now. That might get interesting. We have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in qualifying before we start the 75-minute race with the rolling start, of course.
Yeah, the race is where all actually matters at the end of the day. Don't get any points for qualifying.
Looks like Honzik is going to have one last go at qualifying. Trying to put a lap together to rival Thomas Jansen, as Stephen Higgins is in the wall and trying to go deeper into the wall.
How much is going to help you going into the wall like that?
Not much, I suspect.
Don't really think that'd be the strategy call here. But you never know, as one of the Cadillacs has also gone off, so there's a lot of people are ending their laps now. And that Josh Honzik is trying to go for what he can get. Can he salvage anything out of this? He improves in sector 1, but I honestly do think that slipstream that the Cadillacs have been using is what's got them all that time. Because that is some insane difference going on right now.
I mean, I'd expect the Cadillac to be strong on this track, because it's probably got more straight line performance than the other cars. But that is quite some margin.
And they can't really use Gonzalez, because Gonzalez was P3 last race. As that is the end of qualifying, I believe, or near the end of it. Because of the results, I don't think Honzik will be improving his lap. So Thomas Jensen will take pole, followed by Honzik, Gonzalez, Whitford, Pottage, Brunier, Plecek, Oman, Martel, and Matthiasson round off. As everyone will finish their laps. And again, there won't be any major changes at all. But not a good day for the BMWs, as they are quite far down the order. So we'll see how well it goes in the race, as they will prepare to ready up on the grid.
So they will be getting ready for another rolling start.
Seconds to line up on the grid and get ready. So remember, there will be a rolling start, which consists of a lap, and after that they'll be going green. That's been explained with by the drivers, so worth noting where they will be as they begin the procedure. All start to roll away.
Let's have a look at the tire compounds that people have chosen for the start of the race. It seems most people have chosen to start out on the hard tire, but there's quite a few softs as well. The highest position soft starter is Radek Polexak in P7. Jan van Ommen and Michael Martel right behind him are also starting on the soft tire.
Quite a quick out lap, it does seem. As you do say, the first car with soft tyres on is Polexak, as Jansen is trying to warm his brakes up. And he's doing the good old-fashioned method of putting power on and the brakes at the same time. Bit unorthodox. But we'll see how it goes. So through the parabolica, 2 by 2 they go. That's all 27 cars far the way around. All dependent now on Thomas Jansen when he wants to let them all go out. As he has let them go already. So he gets a very clean getaway for him. Honzig, not so much.
Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble, or they got overtaken by Caleb Gonzalez, and he might get overtaken by Whitford as well, although
There you go.
not sure Whitford will be
Oh, there's a
doing
bit of
anything.
contact.
Oh!
Good contact into turn 1. It's happened. The lap 1 as Gonzalez and Whitford have touched going round. They're both stuck on the island. As Gonzalez,
Terrible start for Whitford after getting very close to Jaroslav Honzik.
and he's a static right now on the area, and he's retired. So they don't want on there, but Gonzalez got all the work to do now to get back up the order. He's got to start from basically last position now. He's still got plenty of time to do so. what has been known is that the current order is Janssen, Hontig, Oman and Brunier currently. Michael Mortal is looking to possibly make a move on to Tara in front. And oh! Sebastian's gone round as big off moment there. Trying to pick up what happened there.
But it looks like Sebastian has spun.
Yeah, he just lost it
at the
there.
exit of Ascari. He's up all the way down to 21st position.
So drama already on the first lap of racing. I was not expecting that. As more carnage going on the Parabolica, 2 cars are off.
It looks like Bartosz Szczebazinski is off.
And Destendo, I think, got caught in it as he's going a bit slowly right now. He's back on the road again, but what on earth is going on in this first laps?
And Szczebazinski is still standing still, and he has retired.
That's 2 cars out already. We haven't even had 10 minutes gone. What has been going on? So, Gonzalez will be a few positions up as he's now back up into P21. Probably helped a bit by the collision that happened earlier. As the BMW obviously goes a bit wide there for the first Lesmo. Stays in front for now. A lot of slipstream now coming as they head towards the Ascari.
Radek Palexak and John Dalton are both closing up on Conor Mathieson in a fight for P5 as Palexak pulls out to the side and pulls back in again.
And these two are teammates, remember? And John Dalton, so it'll be interesting to see if they will try and work together or not.
And looks like Smedegaard just made the move on. Oh no, Mally made the move on Smedegaard.
Oh, another 2 other Robert Nygaard's off and Victor Berlin. I had another collision there in the Parabolica. Drivers are definitely struggling today, trying to keep themselves off track and out of contact. And they're now all the way down the back of the order, along with James Butler, who is dead. James Butler's got front end damage. That explains why he's going in the back. He's probably going to have to go in the pits to repair that. Not so far. They've been the cleanest of races so far. It's quite the opposite compared to Hockenheim.
Yeah.
We have 2 retirements.
Dalton is still getting closer and closer to Conor Mathieson. Just under 2 tenths between them now. Maybe Dalton will be able to make a move into Ascari. It doesn't look like he will try though.
As the 2 other Corvettes from behind also made a move on each other. As Vinnie Roberts has got past, I believe, Wolby, which also let Lawson get overtaken. So, a bit more action just behind these lot. Right, reached the hour mark. On board with Radek Palexak as he's on the back of John Dalton's Corvette as he pulls out to the side. But Williams
looks like he's trying to attack his teammate. No, he'll move.
Drops out a bit.
Out of the way.
And loses quite a bit of time with that, possibly for an attack from Jagas Bibe, who somehow managed to get out of the car and he's quite far up the order, so he's doing quite well for himself right now. So Wolby's on the back of Vinnie Roberts' Corvette. I believe some car went a bit off the gravel there. You can see a bit of dust kicked up, but there's no car stopped anywhere, so
No, I
obviously
think it was just one of the cars going a bit wide. As Volby is definitely getting close to Vinnie Roberts now. Like he's holding back a bit into Sky.
this
They're
Dendo
also closely followed by Thomas Olsen.
This Dendo is in a fight right now with Stephen Higgins as Aegon just are going through a scarring out now as well.
James Butler is in the pit lane.
It's not surprising that he does have front end damage from earlier on, as there's a bunch of overtakes going on. As Magnus has got the switchback that's happened to him as he got passed by Eruz. And behind them is Gonzalez, who is trying to make his comeback drive. As Magnus has now gone back out again. Look at them all moving along the start-finish straight, trying to get a bit of slipstream. There's a bit of contact there, as they all try and squeeze through the same bit of tarmac. There's not really enough room to do that. And at the end of that, you lose a lot of time out for a bit of contact there. People don't seem to be scared to get their elbows out this race so far, and it's not even, we've not hit the hour mark yet. That's what's confusing me. You have not hit the hour mark yet, and people are already getting very...
Yes. Ooh, John Dalton is getting very close to Conor Mathieson, who had a bit of a switching moment out of there. Looks like he's still looking as well. I wonder if he might try and move on his teammates at some point in this race.
I'd be interested to see about that, because right now, Darius Bibe is right on the back of these lot.
That he is.
Well, it's quite interesting how some of these cars don't look stable at all right now. With so they're running very slippery setups, I believe, as
That's Polexek, who ran wide and let Dragos Bibe through as a result.
A little bit of twitch then on the braking into the Parabolica. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but he did have a little bit of twitch. Luckily, he didn't collect anyone on the way through, but he's lost a bunch of position, well, a position out of that, and has the possible risk now of Tom Pottis behind him, who is currently sitting P9 in this P45. The higher up of the P45s right now, and I believe the only one in the top 10. So the only other ones, the other two actually are P22 and P24. They're quite far down of the order.
Thomas Jensen has about a 4-second lead on Jaroslav Honzik now, so seems to be that his qualifying pace is definitely
John Dalton's gone a bit
representative of his race pace.
Colin Martin went under the gravel there and lost a bit of time out and has allowed John Dalton to make the move on him. And now Dragos
Bibe getting very close to them as well.
As John immediately goes in the gravel the next corner, so...
someone spun behind them.
Right, Plastic's gone to the barrier.
Yeah. He has lost his front bumper.
And his front bumper, so he's going to be pitting, I believe, this lap. He's got really no choice about that. It's too early in the race to really risk not running with the front, because you lose so much front downforce missing that car. You get so much extra drag. You just generally are slower without the front bumper on. So
Stephen Higgins and James Butler have also retired now.
A few more cars retiring. So this race so far has been carnage. A lot of cars having damaging, spinning out, and I think it's mostly due to a lot of people running very risky setups, especially for a race. A Well, a lot of the time you do for qualifying, yes, you will run a riskier setup because you're trying to get as much time out as possible. For the race, you would possibly tone it back a bit, get a bit more stability in the car.
Looks like Palexak will stay on track for now.
Now, in just random fact, John Dalton's going at the fastest top speed. Just thought I'd mention that. I believe that's when he was like in the slipstream of someone else. And that, interesting enough, that is at the just before the chicane, the first chicane. So that is where you will be your fastest at this track. As Jaguar's bike looks to the inside, doesn't really do anything. He just sort of looks for it and tucks back in again. Possibly try and make the move a bit behind. So, under now. Oh, it's a bit of
got him!
Connor and John have touched. And they're both into the barrier and both missing their front bumpers. So, absolutely. Just a bit of contact on
this race so far.
I mean, you know, the fact that this race beginning we were talking about how strong the Cadillacs and the Corvettes would be. The top four has got one Cadillac in it, and everything else RUFs. As John Dalton is heading into the pit, and so is Connor. So, deciding to pit early to get that damage repaired. What? Yeah. I just don't know what's going on anymore. You look at Hockenheim, and the race was clean for the most of the way through. And you come over here and it's got 4 retirements already, 2 cars now in the pit lane to repair front end damage. Right, Plastic is still out there with front end damage.
I mean, you say 2 retirements, we have 4
retirements
actually. Yeah. As John Dalton is also taking this opportunity to change tires, it looks like.
So he'll be probably going onto the hard tires, which makes sense. Connor's just up the road, so we're interested to see which one of these leaves earlier. They'll both be in for about 30 seconds to repair the front bumpers, I believe, on these cars. Poor pit crew will be running into the garage, picking up a new one. At least these cars you can replace.
John Dalton will be going out on new hard tires.
As John Dalton is rolling out the pit lane. And will pull in front of the leaders, so nearly a lap down by pitting.
Yeah, Connor is also coming out now. And looks like he will join in near Jan-Willem van Ommen, behind P3 in the race.
You hope that people with how much cars going on, people might tone it down a bit calm down.
Yeah, still a long way to go in the race, although Victor Berlin looks to be going side by side with Robert Nygaard on the main straight, although Nygaard is slightly faster right now.
Plastic is now in the pit lane, so he's probably going to be repairing that front end damage now.
Yes, as Nygaard and Berlin will go into the first chicane now. And doesn't seem to be any moves happening there. As Palexak is also changing tires.
Oh, Carl Mathiasen is off somewhere. He's off. What's going on here? He is apparently right now. He's just pulled out behind. He's lost his front end again.
Yeah, it looks like he went off at the second last one.
So he's going to have to go back in the pit lane once more, get it repaired, and
Palexek is coming out again.
this has been one of the messiest OVRC races I have seen. I think the only other race that's come close to this has probably been Portimao Porsche Cup for race 2, when there's a massive pile up at the beginning, but this has just been carnage the whole way through, and we haven't even got halfway yet. Current standing to top 5 is currently consisting of Thomas Janssen, Honzig, Alman, Marketul, and Dragos Baib, who's managed to get himself out to P5 through all the carnage involved in front of him. Tom Potter's managed to get himself out to P6 after starting about P10, I believe, so he's made a few positions up through this all. And if you are a rough / Porsche fan, you'll be very happy right now, because you have, well, you got the top 10, you have 4 models of your favourite car. So the Porsche is doing well here.
Nygaard and Berlin are side by side through the first chicane, and it looks like Berlin has made his way past.
Nygaard's backed out, I believe, from that. Probably for the best.
Looks like Tom Pottage might be closing up on Dragos Baib. Waiting for P5.
Dendo's on the back of Magnus. And there's a soft versus hard compound tyre, as Dendo is on the soft. Magnus on the hard compound, taking the defensive line though, but will lose the position. There's a bit more slipstream there from the BMW. Very clean pass there. Just moves up to P15.
Pottage had a little look up the inside of Baib on the main straight, but it was just a little look, as he's too far behind to make a move at the moment. If he did make a move, it would have been very ambitious.
So everything's calming down a bit now, which is probably the good thing.
Yeah, still 53 minutes to go, so wouldn't rush if you're trying to make your way up the order. You still have plenty of time left.
This Dendo is still on somewhat of a comeback drive right now. I believe he was involved in the incident at Parabolic very early on, and he is making his way up. He
might be making a move on Thomas Olsen into Ascari. And it looks like Olsen is going to defend that. As Sebastian Brunier is also coming up right behind them.
Dendo makes the pass, and he's now ahead of both the Corvettes.
Yeah, Mali is also ahead of Olsen, and Sebastian Brunier also got ahead of Olsen, although they're still... No, Brunier has made his way past now. Brunier moves to the P10, and Mali up to P9.
Once again, a lot of people on comeback drives as such. It's just the nature of this race so far has been people who had incidents early on have to make their way back up the order.
As Brunier and Mali go side by side into the first chicane, Brunier backs out of it. Maybe try to get a better exit here. And doesn't look like he will get anything. So he is gaining.
Move at the T1 chicane.
Looks like they might have to go again into the second chicane.
Going side by side around the outside, but Dendo is forced out of position, but Well, strange feeling that Dendo is not running that much downforce. He seems to be able to, in every straight line, seems to blast it past the Corvette, sends it down the inside, and we'll have to and makes the move happen. So good work on the brakes there. Managed to get round and didn't overshoot at all. So I'll call that a clean overtake. And now he moves up back up to where he was. Actually, he got re-overtaken.
Now Sebastian Brunier seems to be taking his time, which is probably a good thing.
As Tom Potter's just behind J.S. Bibe. Well, no, Tom Potter's on hard tyres, and he did say that he wants to use the tyres all race. So,
Oh dear.
if this strategy works, I don't think he can get for the lead right now. I think he's a bit too far back, but he is trying something different. I have to give him that, as he is now looking down the inside of J.S. Bibe into turn 1. Brakes sort of force a bit onto the curb then.
There was a bit of contact between Brunier and Mali into the first chicane, but just a little rub. That did cost Brunier some time.
Do we have another car in the pit lane, or a car stopped somewhere?
CJ Ewok was stopped and is now in the pit lane.
So he's retired as well.
Has retired, so that's
5 retirements.
5 retirements now.
His front end was off, so something happened there. He hit the barrier or something. Maybe he got the engine killed. The radiators are all in the front of that car. Thomas Olsen's now trying to make a move with Sebastian Brunier, so it's been a bit slow the last couple of laps.
Yeah, Brunier did have a little bit of contact into the first chicane. He seems to be taking his time with trying to overtake Mali. Might be some action happening now between Tom Pottage and Dragos Bibe. Into the first chicane, doesn't look like it. Bibe is getting the overspeed right now. It looks like that battle is going to continue for a while longer.
That P45 is going to be very hard to make an overtake on. It's just, as soon as you get to the slipstream, you'll start to lose a bit of speed. Sebastian Brunier, look. Trying to look up a move on Mali. Well, there's a bit of time in the sky there. As Tom Pottage is also closing in on to J.S. Bibe, so they're still very much close. Very close there into the parabolica. As Mali moves out the way to break the slipstream. Don't think it's going to work as Sebastian will stay side by side with him into the first chicane and somewhat forced off the line there. And he will just decide to take defensive and will keep the position for another lap. I'm going to still look in the back of the other Corvette of Verano. The top two are somewhat making a gap as Conor Mathiesen is in the pit lane once again.
Michael Martel is in the pit lane. And yeah, so is Mathiesen.
This is a scheduled stops. This must be a planned stop. Probably for fuel, I think. So I think people are starting to come into the pit lane for their stops, as John Dalton's down the pit lane as well. The pit lane is starting to get a bit busy now. On the soft compound tyre, and we'll be on to the jacks.
Yeah. Let's see what the tires he decides to change to. Will it be another stint on the softs, or is he going to finish this race on the hards?
John Dalton and Connor, I don't believe changed tyres. I think they literally went for a splash and dash to get the fuel up, because obviously they had to pit an extra couple of times due to damage.
And it looks like it will be another set of softs from Michael Martel.
I believe he can last the last 40 minutes on those soft tyres.
Tom is still closing up on Drago's Vibe. They're coming up to the parabolic, and now will Tom be able to finally make the move happen? Doesn't look like he will, as he slots in back behind Dragos.
Parabolic is always a tricky corner to make an overtake unless you literally force your way past. But he will have a bit of a run now. Onto the back of Dragon's Vibe.
Another person coming into the pit lane, which is Jan Willem van Ommen. He was right behind Jaroslav Honzik for a while.
Oh, and Dragon's Vibe overcooks it a tiny bit and will cut the course. Never much choice there, and does seem to have let Tom Pottage through, which only seems a bit fair because he outbraked himself, so he's now behind. Tom Pottage moved up to P3. Now it is worth noting that pit stops are going on right now, so the order's a bit shuffled. Some people are in the pit lane.
Yeah, so Ommen is currently up on the jacks, and he is changing onto the hard tires. So he's rejoining the track now, and looks like he will rejoin all the way down in P17. So this looks to be a very close grid so far.
Vinnie Roberts is on the back of Sebastian Brunier as they head down towards Scari, and his teammates also coming along, so they'll move up with the Corvettes and kind of this little Cadillac Corvette Cadillac, so a little General Motors pack. So if you are a fan of General Motors for whatever reason you are, there you go. Have a little pack of cars.
Collect them all.
Cut them all. As Dragos Bibe's in the pit lane now, so we have another car in the pit lane. And he's on the soft compound tyres, remember, so he will... He missed his box.
I'm not sure he stopped.
A drive-through penalty has been awarded for speeding in the pit lane to Dragos Bibe. So he... a bit too far. I think the limiter caught him out there, but he has to make a drive-through penalty now.
Can you take a drive-through penalty while stopping?
No, don't think you can.
Okay, thought so.
I think you have to drive through and then you have to do your stop. So he's going to lose a lot of positions out, so he's now going to have to hope that he can make something work with this.
The Darius Wilgov is now in the pit lane.
As Gonzalez managed to get in front of both the Corvettes. Not really paying attention. He got in front of one of them.
Oh, Darius has retired. So, undone there.
Oh, Gonzalez moves out to the outside. I was watching the replay now, so Gonzalez moves in front of both the Corvettes now. So he's still on his comeback drive from having the incident at turn 1, lap 1 in the chicane. He is now up into P7. Again, everyone in this little pack still needs to change tyres at some point.
Well, they don't have to change tires, but they'll have to stop for fuel at least, and possibly change tires.
I mean, depends what compound they're on to start with. The soft compound tyres probably will have to stop for tyres. I do not think the soft tyres will be able to last this race. Hards, possibly. But you do lose quite a bit of pure pace by using the hard compounds. So, between two equal drivers, the soft will be faster. And Victor Berlin's in the pit lane, I believe.
Yes, he is.
A lot of pit stops going on right now. A lot of people are cycling through their stops, doing tyres, fuel, whatever they think is required. It does seem the Corvettes are struggling through the second Lesmo. They both have twitched a bit there.
It looks like Victor Berlin has changed onto some fresh hards. We'll be rejoining the track in 19.
Those Corvettes are definitely struggling. Vinnie Roberts and Olsen are definitely struggling on grip now because they're going to have to pit soon. They're both on softs, so that's probably why the softs are probably run out a bit of life. No more life on those tyres. And we'll have to swap them to either another set of soft tyres or to the hards. As I believe, judging by Olsen's current driving position, he is going into the pit lane. So Olsen is now heading into the pit lane. See where he will turn out. He stops in his box. There's another car's entered the pit lane as well. Number 11, that is...
Korliski Serrano has entered the pits and so has Dragos Bibe. Again.
Dragos Bibe. Dragos Bibe is going for his scheduled stop. Now he's in a bit of a odd position now because obviously he got to do another stop no matter what. Well, not a stop as such, but has to go through that pit lane once more due to the drive-through.
Thomas Olsen has changed to another set of softs. And so it looks like he's going to rejoin in 15.
Dragos Bibe is now on the jacks. And Jareth both fires the engine up once more.
And is onto some more soft tires.
And side by side with the Corvette. Oh no!
Korliski also on the softs.
One of them does decide to back out then. And they're going to be a lap down now.
Right behind them you can see Tom Pottage coming up.
When Wolby is now on the pit lane. He's pitting from P6, I believe. He's also on the soft compound tyre, so he will be switching tyres unless he has a death wish. That is literally seems to be the case, right? If you're on the soft tyres, you have to change now. I don't think you can stay on the soft tyres the entire race.
I mean, it would defeat the point of the soft tires if you could.
We're not Pirelli.
Yeah. Looks like Jurgen has Dunlops though.
Oh yeah, it's Dunlop. That's why. As he fires the engine once up again, and
Another set of softs for him.
there's nothing decided. It's soft. At least if you're starting on the soft compound tyre, I'd be interested to see what the people on the hards do. That's right. Plastic is now behind Thomas Olsen.
Wobby returns in P13.
As Matt Plastic pulls out, looking possibly for a move, and slots in behind. Pedro Gonzalez is now on the back of Sebastian Bunia. Got two Cadillacs. Both of them had not the best start to the race. Both of them had to change their strategy a bit. They are definitely very quick on track. Definitely do quite a lot of race pace in those cars. Has Drago's Vibes retired? Yes, he has.
Yes, he has.
Another one retires.
I think that's probably down to all the shenanigans that happened with his pit stop. Real shame, since he was in quite a good position for a while. I mean, well, Tim Driscoll has come into the pit lane.
This definitely has been a race of attrition, though. A few retirements due to crashes, some due to damage. So
And Tim Driscoll goes back out, and I don't think he changed tires. That's kind of interesting, as Caleb Gonzalez is now in the pits.
he is stopped. What he does, he's on the hard tyre, so he could possibly go on to stay on these hot tyres if he feels like it. As one of the BMWs comes in as well, that is Distendo. Goes into the pit lane now.
Looks like Gonzalez is changing tires though. And he goes onto the soft compound. Nintendo is also changing tires, and I'd expect it to be another set of softs, and it is.
But my god, right now, a bit of traffic in the way of him right now. I believe that is John Dalton in front. Right now is the fight for P9.
As Tim Driscoll has come into the pit lane again.
Snow, we've got a drive-through penalty or not.
It should have popped up on screen if he did, and he is now in his pit box. So it doesn't look like that's a penalty. And he is going back out again. And he has retired. Clearly did something wrong in his pit stop there.
I've made his way round the traffic. A 3-1 moment up behind. I believe that's right now Thomas Janssen, who's in the lead, trying to deal with all the traffic right now.
Jurgen Welby is closing up to Michael Martel in the fight for P10.
He's right behind him now with John Dalton out the way. I believe it's John Dalton. Yeah, it's John Dalton. I think. Not sure. It's more as a few more cars heading to the pit lane, including the leader.
Thomas Janssen is in the pit lane. And so was one of the P45s.
Robert Nygaard, I believe. As Wolby's going down the
That is
inside into
Robert
turn
Nygaard.
1. I think all the leaders are heading to the pit lane now.
Yeah, Jaroslav Honzik is
Oh, there's
also
a
in the
bit of
pit lane.
contact there. Contact between Michael Mortal and Jorgen Wolby. Into the chicane. Now let's push Wolby right into Gonzalez.
Both of the leaders are now up on the jacks. So is Robert Nygaard. Robert Nygaard has switched to the soft tires.
Oh.
As Tom Pottish has inherited P1 for now. Jensen goes onto the softs, and so does Jaroslav Honzik.
Oh! Drive-through penalty for Thomas Janssen. He's got a drive-through penalty. That is going to be...
That he does, ooh.
He's now got all the work to do now.
Race room janky pit limiter strikes again.
I didn't know that, he made a sped. That pit lane entry on Monza is easy to miss. It's because you enter the pit lane so quickly, you come from the parabolic, you zoom into it. And a lot of pit lanes have like a wall or something to slow you down. Monza is just straight in, and the lines was there, so you got to slow down a lot. As soon as you get to that little checkered line you can see there, you got to slam on the brakes just so you slow down enough to get into that pit lane. It's not easy, and I can honestly, it's happened to me once or twice before this track. It's so easy to trigger it. That's probably
Danny
what's
Roberts
happened.
also is now driving out of the pits and looks like he's going. He has changed onto another set of soft tires and rejoins in P13.
I think whatever happens now, Jansen's lost the lead to this race. I don't think he
I
can win
think
it.
that's fair to say. He had quite a margin on Honzik, but not that much.
You can't do a full line for this pit lane with that margin.
No.
And Tom Potter's strategy is going to be an interesting one.
We know he's planning not to change, but he will have to stop for fuel.
Splash.
And he is currently stopping for fuel.
There comes the splash and dash now. He's going to get passed by both the leaders now. Sebastian Brunner inherits the lead.
Thomas Jansen gets past as well, and so will Jaroslav Honzik. It'll be interesting if he can get ahead of Smedegaard. If he doesn't change tires as he said, then it should be possible. I think. Yes.
Not fired the engine up yet. There we go. The ignition's on.
There he goes.
Very clean exit then.
Stay ahead of Magnus.
Well, the Magnus goes in the pit lane,
Oh,
so
Magnus is also in the pit lane, so that's convenient.
Magnus is now in the pit lane as well.
Smedegaard is changing tires. So he's not going to have a go at the double stint like Tom Pottage is. And he changes onto the soft compound and will rejoin in P15.
Tom Potter is now up into P4 right now. 30-second gap.
Like Mali and Omen are not too far behind though.
So, Thomas Jansen is doing his drive-through now.
There he is.
And Honzik will inherit the lead. Now, how big is the gap going to be? Interesting. Honzik's fastest lap is faster.
Sebastian Brunner is in the pit lane. And looks like Sebastian Brunner will be double stinting his tires.
And he will pull out behind Thomas Pottage. As Kerr Gonzalez is now into Marketal, into P. Oh. Overtake him into T1 possibly. Will Mark fight back? No, he can't. And Gonzalez moves up into P7. Now it's worth noting, if you're looking at the timing bar to the side, that anything below P20 or P20 and downwards are all retired, so that's a bit of information for you. The real question is, can Jensen make up 13 seconds in 21 minutes? I think the answer to that is no.
No, they both changed tires at the same time. And I think Jensen is certainly going to try, and he's going to push very hard indeed, but
Oh,
I doubt he will succeed.
As Oman goes a bit off there, Ascari.
Yeah, it looks like he had some trouble on the braking for the entry.
And now he's with a pack. That's P. On the screen right now, you can see P5 to P9 in one frame.
Gonzalez looks to be making the move on Brunier, and he is ahead now.
Ooh, Brunier loses a bit into.
Loose for Brunier there.
Yeah, those old tyres going to start striking very shortly. Now Gonzalez is on the back of Oman. Gonzalez was the fastest of the two cars, and he's also on the soft compound compared to the hards. It'll be interesting to see where he will show up. And he's going to try and push it around the outside of the Lesmos. Can't really do that though. Let's see what XE gets here now as they will head into Ascari. And we'll make the move into the Ascari, so move by Gonzalez. I think for Gonzalez there's a possibility of a P4 on the table if he can keep us going. It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a little bit of close work going on behind Uman, who's just got overtaken. That was the spinner. That's Mark Till goes round. So you got a bit too close there to the back of Sebastian and just lost it. Oh, by a bit of contact or whatever, but he spun around and he does not lose any positions, but he loses 9 seconds of time. He's lost.
It doesn't look like he's going to get involved in that fight anymore. Just having a look at the replay, seeing if I can find anything. Oh, he had contact with the Cadillac in front of him.
And it's Sebastian, so I don't really know. I think I had to put that on Martel for that, but not really.
Yeah, I don't think Sebastian did anything wrong there. Looks to be taking his normal line.
Obviously, that's a decision for the stewards later on, for any reports they get. I think there will be a few reports this race. As John Wolby looks to the inside, there's a little snap out to make look like it's going to overtake, but is still behind.
He is very close behind now though, so might be able to do anything into here, as he is moving to the inside, but he's actually losing a little bit of time by doing so.
We might be able to get a slightly better
As
exit now.
they do go side by side, and it looks like
It's all about we've got a slightly better exit there. Look fairly even for now. It's going to be a drag race to T1. Cadillac is pulling ahead though, and look at that go. That is some serious straight line speed right there by that Cadillac. As though Sebastian loses it though on exit. Bit too much curb though, and car snaps out of him. Does not lose it.
That is going to allow Wolby to get past, I think. Looks like he's just about gotten ahead. Although they are now side by side again into the second chicane. And Wolby gets ahead.
It's a bit further up the road. Gonzalez is on the back of Ali. goes defense. Doesn't even go defensive. He goes to the naturally roll out then. So I don't know what's going on there. And someone let Gonzalez just past him. So Gonzalez moves up to P4.
There he goes. So he is 7 seconds behind Tom Pottage. Question is, of course, can he make that up? Tom Pottage is on very old tires now.
Gap between P1 and P2 is closing. Not by much, it is closing.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting it to be closing given Jensen's pace, but I'm not sure if it's going to close quick enough with 15 minutes left in the race.
I mean, they're still hanging in behind, but
Alman is definitely closing up on Melee now. Looks like Omen might be able to make a move into turn 1 as he is getting very close now. He moves to the inside. As he will have the inside for the chicane. And he gets past. Looks like Malik sort of back out of it. Oh, he just hit Omen.
Straight in the back of him then.
And that might leave him vulnerable to Jorgen Wolby. Can Wolby get close enough into the second chicane? Doesn't look like he will. Will be making the move on Mali here, possibly on the straight leading up to Ascari. As it looks like he has gotten ahead just about, as Mali slots in behind.
Wolby's done the same thing multiple times to different cars, and I think whatever. Oh, Sebastian just goes.
You're drifting wide there.
Those old tires are definitely not helping.
Yeah, looks like he didn't lose too much time out of it though.
He's got.
I don't think he was really in the fight for those positions either way. I think he'll be hoping for Marktool to not close up on him too quickly. So with 11 minutes left in the race, maybe Jorgen Wolby can still make up the time to Jammen and Van Ommen.
Definitely got some pace in that car.
As it looks like the gap between P1 and P2 has stayed about equal. Maybe Jensen gaining slowly. But I'm not sure he's gaining quick enough to really
the
pose any
difference.
threat to Honzik.
Monza's not under really any pressure either, so it's not like he'll make a mistake at all or something like that. He does. There is still traffic. There's always traffic in a race like this, and you know, there's a big pack of cars ahead of him. That's like P12 to P15, all ahead of him on track right now, so gotta be a bit careful around those. Warby is now right on the back of him, and the see up ahead is Tom Pottage. Gonzalez is closing on Tom Pottage, who's on his basically trademark no tire strategy. He did it quite a lot in GT3 and is doing it again in GT2, so why not? Why not try?
Oh, Omen moves to the inside to defend from Walby into the first corner. I don't think Walby was really close enough to make any serious move there. So I guess Omen just taking the safe defensive option. Just in case.
Nine minutes to go. Just a quick update on the time left of the race.
Magnus Smedegaard is getting very close to Thijs Dendo. As Victor Berlin is in the pits.
He's in the pits again for some reason. Well,
It looks like Magnus has maybe gotten past Dendo. Yes, he has. Into the chicane. And Berlin is changing tires.
Maybe pitted yet or not.
And it's another set of hearts for Berlin. I don't think he lost any positions out of it though.
Yeah, the cars behind him are John Dalton and competition who obviously had to do an extra stop to fix for damage. They're all the way at the back of the grid. Just trundling around.
Bobby is getting closer to Omen again, leading up to turn 1. Bobby again, Omen again, choosing to take the defensive line on the inside as Bobby tries to squeeze his way past.
Oh, bit of contact there, we're all on board with them. There's a bit of argy-bargy work there, didn't quite see it from the onboard. But Wolby is in the front.
Vedek Pelexek is in the pits again. So not sure what is going on here.
Omen's right on the back.
He is back out again, maybe underfueled.
Gap to Gonzalez and Tom Pottage is closing quite rapidly.
Yes it is, but there's only 6 minutes left. So I think this strategy might pay off for Tom Pottage.
Not long to go. really a lot to commentate on right now. Apart from Honzig is the leader. Only Honzig just going through a bit of traffic. 4 minutes to go, so not too many laps left. Maybe about 3 to 4 laps at most.
Oh, as I can hear the pit lane bell going
Gonzalez is
off
in the
as
pits.
Gonzalez is in the pits, yeah.
Has to under fuel. That's the only thing possible at this point.
I don't see any other reason why you would pit at this point, unless you had some extreme damage.
And he's
It
off
doesn't
again.
look like he does, and he is out again.
That has to be under
And
fuel.
dropped quite a few positions, all the way down to P10 now. Lucky Wheel rejoined just ahead of Timmy Roberts though. And Tom Potters were left like that.
Tom Potters looks like he's just somehow managed to secure himself a P3 spot.
I think he'll be very happy with that.
What has been is guys behind him have gained a few positions as well. Right, and Oman is possibly trying to make an overtake on Wolby. Wolby's just so much better.
Yeah, they're still going.
Wolby just seems to be better on the brakes. Like every time it comes to the braking zone, he just seems to gain a bit more.
Yeah, Oman just had a bit of a messy Ascari and lost a lot of time as a result. Michael Martel might still be able to make a move on Sebastian Brunier with just over 2 minutes left.
Going around down the inside. But it's going to be Cadillac versus Ruff. And the Cadillac once again just pulls away in the straights. This time Marcus going a bit more slipstream. He's sort of gone back again. But the gap just opens up. Those Cadillacs, like Sebastian's and Thomas, must be really slippery. They're just cutting through the air. It's ridiculous how much speed they have in a straight line. You also make this race worse for Thomas Janssen though. He's now in visual range of Honzig. Like you can see him up the road. Like they're on the same bit of straights when they're on the straights kind of thing. So
yeah,
they're so annoyed about that. Especially after this changing car as well, as Marcus still having another go at Sebastian.
Especially as this should have been a strong track for his Cadillac. He just changed to.
There's just less than a minute to go. We're going to see if it'll be another lap. Don't think there will be. I think Honzig is not far enough along the track as Marco pulls out and has to slot in behind again. This reminds me exactly of Season 3 again. It reminds me of when Thomas Potters was in the McLaren. He was like, I think, chasing down, I can't remember who, was in like an Alpino or something.
Oh, Vinny Roberts just overtook Caleb Gonzalez.
Where's that? And Gonzalez is P11, so that's in the Parabolica.
Yeah, he overtook just on the straight before Parabolica.
As Honzig will be going on to the finishing final lap, the checker flag will be out as the timer has hit 0, and you will cross the line. Finish P1.
Nice little spin there.
Followed by Thomas Janssen, which will come home P2.
It looks like Tom Pottage will be able to claim P3. He's quite far down the road.
Yeah. Michael Sebastian is still going at it though for the final lap as he forces his way down the inside into the Lesmos. Just got a bit more grip because Sebastian did not take new tyres. So it's going to be a race to the end for these two. Marco goes defensive, Sebastian goes down the inside into Ascari, and a bit of contact there between the two cars. It's so close, bit more contact as well once again.
Like Martel just about stays ahead.
Now the Cadillac is once again closing. They're weaving all the way down the back straight.
Bottas did just finish in P3. They are all having some fun on the straight again.
And Marco will, I believe, finish ahead of Sebastian. Last lap move there by him to secure his P7. I believe that'll be soon be everyone coming home, as Vinnie Roberts will be coming home alongside Gonzalez. As they'll be side by side, and Vinnie will take it. And there we go, that's everyone through apparently. So that means Honzig takes the win at Monza. Janssen sets the fastest lap. The top 5 will be Honzig, Janssen, and Pottage, Walby, and Onman. And very interesting, a lot of drama very early on with DNFs, crashes, spins, and then unfortunately it was somewhat the fate of the race was decided by a drive-through penalty to Jensen for speeding in the pit lane. Dashed his hopes of a race win here. He'll be on the back foot next week, or next week in the next 2 weeks. So how's that? From your point of view, Owen? I'm exhausted.
Yeah, that
now.
was quite an eventful race, I think.
A lot of DNFs.
Yeah.
I'm still not catching my breath yet. So yeah, I think coming to next time it's going to be Janssen has to win now because his car changed. I don't know why he changed it. I think it's more just because he felt like it rather than a strategical choice. But he's going to have to win it now because it's going to be the halfway point. Because obviously it's a 6-round season now, so he's got a lot of work to do now. He has to go on the attack now, and Honda's got a bit of a comfortable lead now. So well, we'll have a bit about 5-point head, 5-10 point. Can't remember exactly. The points have changed. Anyway, thank you all guys for tuning in. Anything you'd like to add, Owen, before we head off?
Yeah, thank you again for tuning in. Make sure you like the stream if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see the upcoming races, which will be on Thursday the GT4 Series at Monza. And then next week on Monday we have the OVRC Porsche GT3 Cup Series at Mid-Ohio.
Yep. Yeah, so a lot of racing coming up in the coming weeks. Make sure you check the website for all information how to sign up. Check your drivers, see what people are going at, all that kind of jazz. I think Honzig will be leading all 3 series right now, so that's some bad luck to him eventually. Anyway, that'll be us. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and we'll see you for GT4. Well, you'll see Erwin for GT4. I may be
Yes, you
there.
will.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.